So I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. So Pam Bondi, if you have an issue with terrorism, maybe you should talk to your boss about locking back up those guys that he let out that participated in January 6th.
Did Elon Musk just get schooled by a freshman congresswoman in front of the entire country? The man who sends rockets to space and buys social media platforms for fun wasn't prepared for Jasmine Crockett's systematic takedown of Republican talking points. Think about it. How can someone who wasn't elected by anyone have so much control over our public infrastructure? That's the question Crockett wasn't afraid to ask while staring down the world's richest man. And his reaction? Let's just say money can't buy composure when you're caught off guard by actual facts.
One of the things that I told people to do is make sure you are adhering to the laws in your area. Make sure you know what it looks like to protest and to be able to raise your voices. And this is a non-violent protest that they're calling for. And in fact, when I was on there, which is why the Attorney General had to say that I wasn't calling for violence, and it's ridiculous that I even have to say something like that. But because they are trying to twist our words, that his money as it relates to Tesla, well, Tesla's tanking right now. And I'm okay with that. So just in case the slow people listening decide to clip this up later, I just want to say that I have never promoted violence.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Have you ever wondered what would happen if a former criminal defense lawyer used her cross-examination talents on billionaires believing they were above reproach? Jasmine Crockett just shown what that looks like, so grab some popcorn. You could sense the atmosphere change as soon as Crockett entered the hearing room.
Whatsoever, yet I've also never made excuse for those violent actors such as the ones on January 6th. So Pam Bondi, if you have an issue with terrorism, maybe you should talk to your boss about locking back up those guys.
Among the sea of dull gray and navy suits, her pink jacket was a stark warning flag. Members of the Republican committee shuffled uneasily in their chairs. They were prepared because a former defense lawyer doesn't just appear so self-assured without any ammunition. She had ammunition too, boy. Crockett wasted no time making small talk. She took aim at the Republican Party's favorite issue, economic restraint. They enjoy lecturing everyone about it while blowing up the budget, you know.
And Maria, now you have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says, because nothing will happen to Elon Musk, and we're going to fight to protect all of the Tesla owners throughout this country, and it's this basic safety. Once again, domestic terrorism is going to come to us. Yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official, and so she needs to tread very carefully.
I want to remind you who burned down the house. It was you all, Crockett said in a firm yet piercing voice. Suddenly, the notepads on the Republican side of the room became very intriguing. Having your hypocrisy exposed on national television is like nothing else. Republicans attempted their typical interruption strategies as she systematically presented her point.
Specifically on this news organization, they want y'all to kind of tamp down what you say and hopefully buy into the lies, exercise your constitutional right to free speech. And what we see is that they want to dull our free speech rights. They want to make sure that those that are participating in the press, because we saw that there have been recent attacks, the lies, instead of going out there and just telling the truth. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see that Elon Musk, that his money as it relates to Tesla, well, Tesla's tanking.
Crockett, however, would have none of it. She effortlessly added to the congressional record that the national debt rose by an astounding $7.8 trillion during the Trump presidency. With a T, that's trillion, the third largest increase in history under any president. Jim Jordan began to fumble with his pen. With a roll of her eyes, Marjorie Taylor Greene almost lost her head. However, the truth is that eye rolls don't erase the facts. Crockett highlighted those 2017 Republican tax cuts as she carried on with her lesson. Do you recall those? The ones they promised to cover their own expenses. Crockett called them what they were, a $2 trillion tax giveaway that blew a huge hole in our national budget while doing little for average people. Crockett just raised an eyebrow and went on when a Republican representative tried to interrupt with some jargon about economic growth. She reminded everyone that it was under President Bill Clinton that America last had a balanced budget. It's funny that Republicans never bring up that fact when discussing budgetary restraint. When Crockett shifted from discussing the budget to discussing constitutional issues, the real heat arrived, as she focused on the true issue, unelected billionaires like Musk believing they should govern the nation from their Twitter accounts. The audience became hostile. Looking straight at the Republican side, she remarked, "It feels like you guys have just decided that you're going to castrate your constitutional duty and hand it over to someone who wasn't elected." Suddenly, a number of Republicans needed water. Musk most likely choked on his morning coffee while observing from his feed. The cameras captured the wriggling of Elon's defenders. One legislator hastily combed through papers in search of an unfound counter-argument. To a staffer who shrugged helplessly, another whispered hurriedly, "When someone criticizes your party for eschewing democracy in order to appease a millionaire, how do you respond?" Crockett's knockout punch followed. She made the statement that would soon become popular on social media, looking straight into the camera. Power doesn't come from virality, it comes from the ballot box. Easy, straightforward, constitutional mic drop. Despite his Twitter bluster, Musk was unable to tweet his way out of this situation. You know he was composing and erasing responses in a frenzy somewhere in his estate. Reactions from the Democratic side of the committee chamber were uncontrollable. When she sees someone else perform the task she usually does, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez flashes her sardonic smile, whispering to one another about Crockett's surgical precision in tearing apart the Republican defense of Musk. Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin leaned in close. It wasn't simply the information Crockett provided that made her takedown so successful. It was the accuracy of her attorney, her reluctance to be enticed into side debates, and her intense concentration on the pertinent constitutional ideas. Crockett remained on topic while others would have become emotional or distracted. What we just saw was a fundamental lesson about democracy itself, not just Crockett putting a tech millionaire in his place. Crockett reminded us that the Constitution is not superseded by digital popularity contests, even though Musk may have hordes of fans eager to RT his every thought. She said, "There is no crown in the Constitution," thus reminding Musk that he has no right to act as the head of state because of his Twitter business. The hearing revealed the perilous notion that you can somehow go around people and elected authorities just because you have billions and a blue check mark. Not only did Crockett humiliate a millionaire with a god complex, but she also pulled the phantom crown from his head and made it clear that voters, not verified accounts with rocket emojis, have the true power in America. It was clear from Elon's face. Democracy won, billionaire ego zero.